Ladies and gentlemen, Khalaf, we're back in the tent today with a Middle Eastern entrepreneur, Simon Khalaf. Khalaf.
Hi.
How are you? Welcome.
Good, thank you.
CEO of Flurry. Amazing stuff that you guys are doing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All the success. On the sideline, I watch and hear, and it's very impressive. And to me, it's always really exciting to see a Middle Eastern entrepreneur who has success and who's doing really cool things. So if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and about Flurry, and then we'll tell a quick story and share maybe an experience or two.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, thanks. So I've been here in the Valley for about 24 years now. I grew up in Lebanon, and I ended up here, like a lot of folks who have ambitions in technology. And Flurry's story is about 5 years ago, is when we started, and was around when the App Store launched, and for us, how do you trap this market early? And we started with analytics, which is helping the application developers understand the smartphone ecosystem. And it took off like wildfire, and now we're in almost 400,000 apps, so 396,000 apps, and our reach is 1.2 billion devices worldwide. And on top of analytics, we built an advertising marketplace that allows people to buy and sell ads effectively on mobile applications. So it's been an interesting 5-year ride. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And today we're talking about wearables, which is kind of like a third stage booster to that ecosystem.
Very interesting. So let's talk about apps and all this stuff. Mobile penetration in the Middle East, 103%?
Well, in Saudi Arabia, it's 120%.
120%,
yeah.
Okay.
So, and Turkey is doing amazing. I mean, I don't know country by country, but it's an amazing penetration. And in some cases, it's the only consumer electronic device that people have. But like I do visit Lebanon twice a year, and people are glued to those devices, like here. And what the beauty of it is, there's no more geographical borders. So people are kind of split around vertical interests, like the gamers here in Silicon Valley or in Beirut are the same.
Yeah.
And they're glued to the device, and we've seen a massive adoption of these communications applications where people are communicating across geographies, borders, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a global market.
Very interesting. So what are you seeing as far as opportunities for yourself, or as far as not just wearables, but a lot of people are now looking at the Middle East for market share. Uber just launched in Dubai.
Sure.
Obviously LinkedIn and PayPal and Google, but a lot of the hyper growth companies here that are not at that scale are not looking at, hey, we've got 400 million people, penetration is there, GDP is going up.
Right.
Yes, there's some instability, but really, I mean, that doesn't really affect someone using the phone. If anything, I hate to say this, but when there's unrest or revolution, it actually goes up. So
So I mean, opportunity is what we want to make out of it. It's an amazing market, and like the mentality of U.S. companies has always been, let's start with the US, go to Europe, and then go seek English-speaking countries. Yeah. And that's been the traditional enterprise software mentality. Well, that's changing. And right now, and exactly what we always talk about at Flurry, you got to think global from day one. Yeah. And if you don't think global, you're going to fail, because your customers, think about it, right now, Flurry reaches 1.2 billion devices. And that means there are 1.2 billion devices out there that you can distribute software and content to, independent of taxation, geography, cultural issues. And the Middle East has about 300 to 400 million of those. So how about 1/4 or 1/3 of that market available? So there's plenty of opportunities. Now, in terms of the opportunity for the Middle East is, again, to us, big data, and this is the new oil. So we don't need to rely on a technology or on an asset that was made available to us 7,000 years ago, which is oil. I mean, this is something we can create. We don't need to wait for Mother Nature to create it for us. It's all in our hands, and rather than killing each other, we can build tech and prosper.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of our mission. And
right.
So, a lot of people come look at the Middle East, and they don't even really know that there's a tech community.
Right.
I mean, yes, Turkey and Israel are already established, that bridge is there, but I've traveled across the region, and I keep meeting very educated, smart, motivated, passionate entrepreneurs who, yes, maybe they're not thinking as big, or maybe they're kind of disconnected, but to me, I think a lot of people say, are they innovative, right? And so my answer to that is innovation mean that you're providing value and changing lives and creating peace, or does it mean that you're coming up with something from scratch? And so to me, there's a lot of catching up to do. Payments, payment infrastructure needs some work, content. So there are issues, but I'm a firm believer that these are all opportunities. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you cannot look at innovation the last 30 years. If you look at it, we've done nothing. Right? But if you look at the past 1,000 years, we've done a lot. Yeah. And it's just a matter of regaining the self-confidence, that thinking that, look, we can do anything if you apply it to the good and not the bad. And yes, I mean, Israel is established because they've had quite a few success stories, and they have access to capital that is investing into the high-tech scene. We do have access to a lot of capital. It's not invested in technology. And once we demonstrate that we can do that, and there's going to be a lot of innovation, and it's all going to be very powerful because we are entrepreneurs. I mean, it's genetic. Yeah. It is in our genes, so we can definitely do that and do it very effectively.
So for someone who is of Middle Eastern descent and has gone through up and down the valley and now your own success, what's some of the advice that you would give, or how do we kind of motivate more people to really start thinking bigger and shining a light? So.
Yeah, I mean, my first thing I'd say, think global. Like, don't think about a local market, or don't think, hey, I take a piece of software and translate it to the Arab world. No, think about you're building an experience that can be used from Japan to China to India and all the way around the globe, and that's how you can scale something very fast. The second thing, take risks. Like we all, I did live in Lebanon during war, and I did my SATs being sniped on, and that never stopped me. Right, we take risks every day, and this is the least of our worries. Like, go out and disrupt something, and let's build that killer case study that one success came out of the Middle East and got international adoption. Look at Finland. I mean, Finland is a country, I don't know how many people they have, but I doubt it's not more than 6 to 7 million, right? And they have franchises like Nokia came out of there, Angry Birds came out of there, and now Supercell. They're organized, but they focus, and there's definitely something we can do and grow it very effectively.
Do you think that maybe partially it's lack of focus or direction or vision?
I think it's lack of self-confidence. I mean, the perception, if you ask 10 people on the road, they think that we cannot accomplish anything. Right? But all we need is that killer case study, that we can do more than bicker. Or build wars or start wars or end wars. I mean, there's a lot that we can do. I mean, Dubai is now a phenomenal financial capital. Beirut used to be, but it can regain its status. And I think it's gaining the self-confidence that technology is something we can do, number one. Number two is bring investment to technology, because the return on investment is as high as real estate or any other segment. And last but not least, take that case study and distribute it. But it all starts with self-confidence.
That's an interesting point. So we have some teams coming here, and again, I'm very surprised that there's some really interesting opportunities that people here don't really know exist. But some of these entrepreneurs, I think I agree with the self-confidence, where they don't know what they don't know. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to be able to create this knowledge transfer, this inspiration in what you're saying. So that's super cool. What's next for Flurry?
Well, grow and have happy customers. I mean, we're at the beginning of this. Yes, we're at 1.2 billion devices. There's next year another billion is going to go live, so we're going to go live with them. So continue to grow. I mean, this is very, very early. Like I said, it's 1913 and we're building cars, and what we believe what we have is like oil. Big data and the ability to measure consumer behavior on 1.2 billion devices is something we do that has never been done before, and is continuing to leverage that and into advertising, into commerce, and many other applications. So continue to grow.
Very cool, very cool. Well, we want to thank you for coming to the tent.
Thank you.
I'd love to stay in touch and introduce you. We have some applications from Beirut already that are super cool, and maybe we can have you around when they get here.
Great.
Anyway, Simon,
thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
And we'll hopefully see you soon.
Great.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time. Peace.